Welcome to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff, DiVeronica and Steve Bradley.
How's it going, buddy?
Doing fantastic. Some knuckles. It's a soccer Saturday as we record this one. And we're going to be talking to one of the contenders in Section 5 soccer for a championship. They always seem to be under this man as the coach. His name is Nino Pilato. McQuaid Soccer, Steve Bradley. Always very good.
Always, and it should be no different this year, Jeff. An impressive start. 49 goals for the Knights, 2 goals against, 11-0 and 2 record as we record this. About a week away from sectionals happening, and you got to think that they're going to be right there in the mix.
Coming off a big senior night win over Williamsville North, another shutout, a clean sheet for Niyen Ruffin, the goalkeeper. I believe he's got 10 on the season. They've allowed 2 goals against their rivals this year. Aquinas, both times, and one was in a tie to open the season, and one was in a victory. And we'll talk about how, of course, the private school is done against some of the county teams. It's always a good litmus test when the county will play McQuaid. So we'll get into that too. But let's welcome on to our specialties hotline. It's a full house backfield for us here. You see in the lower corner there, it's head coach Nino Pilato, his 7th year with McQuaid. And we know who the older guy is, the coach. All right, 48 years young, Nino Pilato. Steve, we did some math before the show started, actually. Nino is 48. And how long has he been coaching?
24 years. 5? So what would that be, about half a lifetime?
Almost exactly, half his lifetime. And he's with his son, the offspring, Marco Pilato. Does anybody ever go Marco Polo? Do they ever just joke you with that or no? Yes?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time. Okay, good. And also the big fella up top, Niyen Ruffin, the goalkeeper, senior there. And then I think he is the goal scoring leader and points leader for this squad, Andrew O'Neill. He's got 8 goals, 5 assists as we record this. And Marco, I think, leads the team with 9 assists. That's a good way to make friends, Marco. All those assists, buddy. Let's start with the coach, Steve Bradley. Nino, what do you like about this squad, the strengths, and the type of resolve they showed so far in being unbeaten through 13 matches?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us on. We appreciate everything you do for high school sports. This team has a chemistry to them. This team, they get along, they play for each other, and you can see the results are happening because of that.
Marco, since you're right there.
Had to do it, sorry.
Yeah, why let me ask the question without interrupting me? Marco, what's it like playing for Dad?
Oh, I mean, it's awesome. To me, it's just a blessing because, he knows me better than anybody does. He probably knows me better than I know myself. He knows my strengths and weaknesses on and off the field. So I think it's just been great for me all around and probably the best possible scenario for me in high school.
Well, McQuaid is certainly a name that's synonymous now with championship soccer here. Right. Certainly since Nino took over. I did my research this morning. Sectional titles, and the first one ever was kind of surprising. I remember when it happened, 05 and 09. And then since Nino has become the coach in 2016, of course, went all the way to the state title, that dream season.
Yeah, that 17 team was super dominant.
22-0, and they won a laugher in the state final, 6-0 over Half Hollow Hills, who showed up apparently to play less than half a match. 2017 state title, and then 2019 you shared the title with Fairport. How many of you guys on the screen here were on that 2019 team?
I was.
Okay, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Let's go to Niyen then. So Niyen, senior goalkeeper. Niyen, you don't look like a small fella. How tall are you and how much do you weigh, young man?
I am 6'1" and 210 pounds.
Do you think at all your size? When I used to cover pro soccer, the Rhinos used to have some pretty good goalkeepers, some pretty big guys.
They wanted them 6'2", 6'3", right?
Yeah, and do you ever see guys shy away from contact in the air because they know you're coming for the ball?
Definitely, all the time.
Have you ever flexed after a save, like ball here and like this? You should do that. No, that'd be too much showboating. But I'd love to see it.
So, Niyen, what's your strength back there? Is it reading the play, anticipation, communication? You've only given up 2 goals all year, and I know you're not doing it by yourself. But what's the key to this defense being so successful?
Well, I think that my back line is just overall great. They are a big part of it. So, but for me, I think the balls that are in the air, like crosses and stuff, I think that I'm all right at them. So, and
Let's see what coach thinks. Coach, how good is this guy in the air?
This guy is, you mentioned, he's a big guy. He's super athletic for a size. He just dominates his box. And like you said, gosh, if I was playing against him, I would think twice about going in there against him. But, and to top that, he's a super nice kid. He's a personable guy. So don't let the size fool you there.
So, Andrew, when we talked a little bit about the defense, but when we look at this team, we see balanced scoring. We see Kevin Miller with 9 goals. You have 8. Jacob Savine has 6. Casey Montesano has 6. What makes this offense click and makes you guys so difficult to defend?
I think especially coming into like the games now, we've kind of built up the 1-2 touching like in the final third, which is like breaking down defense and then getting it wide and then getting it to the middle, which defense, like, they cannot deal with it. A lot of goalies too, they can't deal with balls coming into the middle of the box, and it's hard to read a lot too.
Let's hang on a second right here on this shot show. No, I'll go back to that. Let's take a look. Take a look at the wristband. Mr. O'Neill, what is that? Is that Italia? I thought it was. Okay, I just want to make sure. I am Italian, Steve.
We know.
Okay.
Is there a follow-up question?
No, that's it. I just wanted a little observation. He is in a car. It looks like you could be in a. If that was your house, it'd be fantastic. A beautiful skylight, but you're in a vehicle. So, soccer. Whose car are you in?
I'm actually in my cousin's car.
All right, my cousin Vinny. Is his name Vinny?
So, Andrew, while we have you here,
Yeah.
the defense has only given up 2 goals all season. So as a goal producer, how much confidence does that give this team that if you get 1 or 2, you're in a great spot to win the match?
It does bring a lot of confidence too, but we always have to remember that defense also starts from the front too. It's not just the defense doing all the job stopping the goals. Obviously they help, but it starts with us up top.
Nino, you've molded many teams many different ways. What's the hallmark of this squad when you think about it 10 years from now? Regardless what happens, you guys have had you're fantastic through 13 matches. You guys made a lot of tremendous memories. I think 14 seniors. You had senior night on Friday against Will North. But when you think about this squad 10 years from now, Nino, what's going to probably come at you first?
So, as I mentioned before, the chemistry, but the willingness for each one of the players to be unselfish. As you said before, we got guys with a lot of goals, which means you got guys with a lot of assists, guys that are not trying to be the hero, but, playing for each other.
How do you build chemistry in the squad? Is there anything you do in particular over the years to try to get guys better connected? Is it team building activities, pasta dinners? What do you do?
All of that, it comes down to school also, being at the school they're at. They spend a lot of time together. They play a lot of club soccer together. We do a lot of off-season stuff together. So it's not just a 2.5, 3 month thing here with the boys.
Marco, your dad's been around the program for a while, so I'm sure you're familiar with the tradition. I know that at McQuaid there's a mantra almost that tradition never graduates. What does that phrase mean to you and your teammates?
I think it's really just the tradition of like brotherhood, because at McQuaid they really preach being brothers and being a family, and I think I really see that on this team. Pretty similar to how the 2017 team was, because I was around that a little bit with him being the coach, and I think the chemistry we got on this team is very similar to what they had on that team.
Great stuff so far, Steve. But we got to take a break as we do that. Want to thank all of our sponsors on our show. We appreciate that. Without our sponsors, we couldn't be on the air. So thank to all of our sponsors. Our website is ConnorsandFerrisShow.com. Pretty easy to remember. So you'll see all of their logos there. And if you have a choice, this is a competitive marketplace we live in, and businesses need your help, so support local. That's what we do here on the show. So we'll take our first break, our only break, and come back. We'll talk McQuaid Soccer right here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show.
Looking for a used truck? Can you find one out of 350? At BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com, you'll find one. Love SUVs? 800 are waiting for you to take one home at BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com. at 350 pre-owned sedans, and you've got a total of 1,500 used vehicles only at BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com.
Bob Johnson's got you right. Bob Johnson.
While we celebrate 140 years of serving our community, the kind of delicious joy that lasts a lifetime, we look forward to serving you for 140 more. With hardworking, wholehearted, passionate people who will help shape new memories for generations to come.
You don't choose to get hurt at work, but you can choose the workers' comp attorneys at Connors and Ferris to fight for your money and medical benefits you deserve.
With over 20 years of industry experience, we will give your case our undivided attention so that you and your family can focus on your recovery.
So call Connors and Ferris, the workers' comp attorneys dedicated to fighting for injured workers' rights.
Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys.
The best three things here at McQuaid are definitely the sports, the brotherhood, and the service to community. I think that's a really big, important thing that McQuaid stresses, which is part of creating a better and great man. You definitely feel a connection with your fellow students here. It's being all guy school. You're able to relate to each other on a personal level, and everyone's very welcoming here with open arms and willing to be your friend.
Local McDonald's operators care about our local schools, teams, and student athletes. That's why they support the return of high school athletics in the Rochester area and around the state. See you before or after the big game at McDonald's. Welcome back, Section 5. Game on!
Protecting your home's worth pays off when you trust the experienced team at American Custom. We've all seen our homes go up in value, making home improvements a wise choice. If you think your home is worth a lot now, just wait until our team is done with it. Call American today.
Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff, DiVeronica, and Steve Bradley talking some McQuaid soccer. The Knights will be one of the top seeds in the sectionals, and they've been a bit snake-bitten, Steve, the last couple of years. I want to ask our guests about that. They've run up against the Fairport Red Raiders a few times over the last few years, and they developed quite the rivalry. Last fall was the top seed of McQuaid Knights, losing 3-2 in the semis to Fairport in overtime. In 2020, it was McQuaid, the 2 seed, losing 3-1 to Fairport in the semifinals. And in 19, these guys shared the title with Fairport, so they got to share the title after a 1-1 draw, I believe it was. But then Fairport went on to the state tournament on penalty kicks, so kind of a loss, you know. That's 3 in a row, Steve.
Well, yeah, not advancing, but 3 in a row. I mean, I would think that maybe Niyen, thinking of having been on those teams, how much motivation are those? Your team's been great so far, but you know, just to work hard every day for maybe that opportunity to get through to Fairport or whoever else you might find in sectionals.
What was that question again? I'm sorry.
Exactly, Bradley. Is there a question in there? Yeah, good job.
No, the 3 games against Fairport the last 3 years, how much has that motivated you and your teammates to keep improving and try to get by them?
Well, yeah, so the last 3 years, it's always been rough. So I think that just kind of gives us more to want to win. And for me personally, I've played them forever, and it's the same guys, and I just want to win, you know. So, and it's the same thing. I'm with Marco and Trey Leo and all them. They all just want to beat them. That's it.
I'm sure Mr. Palmer is going to watch this. These guys are smart. McQuaid doesn't need to give them any bulletin board fodder. It's going to be, if it's McQuaid and Fairport, it'll be a fantastic match. Section 5 soccer is what it is. There's always great competition. And let me ask you guys about this, because you have fared very well against everybody this year, but the county, for sure. You beat Penfield defending champ, right? Am I right about that? Or am I skipping a year? You know who won it? Was Penfield the champ last year?
Hilton.
I thought it was
Hilton.
I believe it was Hilton. They went to the state final last year.
Oh, fantastic, DiVeronica. Great. The Fortress.
Yeah, Jeruzzi's on the phone.
Greece Athena, 3-0 win over them. Scoreless tie against the Victor Blue Devils, a sub 500 club. So that's curious. And then you beat Sutherland, which is 9-2. You beat them bad, 3-0. Who wants to take me through that Sutherland match? Andrew, let's ask you about that one. That's pretty definitive over a pretty good Sutherland squad. How well did you guys play that night?
I think we played very well. Obviously, getting the first goal helped us to progress in the match further, and it kind of took some weight off our back, so we kind of play more freely, get the ball up more, and just get shots on goal.
Nino, when you build the schedule for your team, what goes into that? Because we know some of the best soccer in the state is played in Section 5, but you also cross over with some of the Buffalo schools and other schools. So when you're building your schedule, what's in mind, and how well does that prepare you for the postseason?
So looking forward to our games, I'm always trying to find the best competition because you only get better by playing the best. And so, I seek out as many of the county schools as we can, and the ones you see on the schedule, the ones that are have accepted matches. Unfortunately for some of the county schools, they have a league schedule and crossovers that they have to play, so they don't have many non-league opportunities. But we're just trying to play the best to become the best.
I don't want to make this interview all about AAP, it's just one letter, sure. AAP, all about Pilato. If you put an R in there, it'd be AARP, Nino. That's what happens.
You got your card?
I got my card, yeah. He's almost there. But this is a guy who he's the only person in Section 5 history that won a state championship as a girls soccer coach and as a boys soccer coach. 8 sectional titles in 17 years at Odyssey. 1 state title, I believe, 2012, I think. And then you went and you moved. What went into that decision to leave Odyssey and to go to McQuaid, Nino?
Well, to be honest with you, I had thought I'd run my course at Odyssey. I was ready to just take a step back and not coach anymore for a little bit. And then the opportunity at McQuaid opened up, and it was hard to pass up. It's a great place to be, great people. And as Marco mentioned before, it's one big family. So happy to be here.
So, and somewhere down the line, did you think it'd be kind of cool to coach my son?
Yeah, to be honest with you, when I started there, he was, I believe, in 5th or 6th grade. He was still young, so it wasn't even kind of in the picture. And as he mentioned before, I think he was around soccer for a while, seeing the brotherhood, seeing the team play, and visited the school and loved everything about it. So.
Marco, what's the biggest lesson you've learned from Dad? Not necessarily soccer lesson, maybe life lesson.
It can be soccer, though.
It could be.
Jeez.
That's a deep one.
There's been a lot. Jeez. I really think it's just to
You stumped him.
No, I'm going to tell you one. I'm going to give you a second to think about it, and then we're going to put Bradley in the hot seat too. My old man taught me, if you're going to do something, do it to the full extent, the best you can, or don't do it at all. Basically, that's what he said. How about your old man?
Yeah,
Steve?
my dad's 80 years old, and we grew up in a farm, and it takes less time to do something right the first time than to have to do it twice.
All right, Nino or Marco, your turn now. We gave you a second.
So I guess it just have to be to always work hard. I mean, he's always preached that to me since I was young. Even says the little quote, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I really think just that rings true through soccer and with everything else. He's just always told me to work hard, put 100% into everything. And I really think that's helped me to become who I am today.
That's quite a recovery, Marco. Well done. Well done. I
want to know if Niyen's always been a goalie. Or if he played the field, or how he became
Were you
a
ever
goalie.
a football? I mean, you look like you could be a middle linebacker. But were you ever a football player?
Yeah, so I played football in 8th grade for 1 year for the Ogden Bears. I kind of played everything for them, ranging from line to running back. So,
and how did you get hooked up to playing soccer?
Well, I was just playing soccer forever. I started at probably 4 years old, and like I just kind of felt like I was a little bit in. I just felt like I was already invested in soccer, so I kind of feel like me switching up would kind of just be a waste, you know.
Don't let this guy fool you. He was a really good lacrosse player too.
Oh yeah.
Andrew, how about you? What's your background in soccer, and have you always been a goal scorer?
Yeah, pretty much from when I started. I always started at up top scoring goals. I mean, that's how I fell in love with it. I started out playing rec soccer with my sister, and she kind of dropped out, and I love to play it so much, so I kind of just went up from there.
And Marco, how about you? Who got you? Never mind. I think we know the answer to that one.
But hey, the one question we have for Niyen too, we've talked about the back line doing a great job, and defenders are always overshadowed. So how about a little love for that back line? Who are the guys that are getting the work done for you?
Yeah, so outside back we got Trey Leo and Evan. At center back we got Dylan Bucci and Ian Bird, and that's the starting line typically. Besides that, we got Nick Marangola and Colin Reale. And,
how do you do, Coach? Pretty good?
He's doing great. Good stuff, Niyen.
I think I got them all. I'm pretty sure.
Nice. Nino, let me ask you one more question, and it's just a little bit of the history and tradition of Rochester soccer. You once played for the Rochester Rhinos for a while, and those great Rhinos teams that I used to cover, and you probably watched. I'm trying to think if you were on that. I don't think you were on the championship teams, but they had a couple guys come off the bench, Mike Kerms and Nate Dallicon, that used to kind of change the game. Are there any nights that come off the bench and kind of spark you guys or change the game, or is it usually about the starting 11?
I think we're a well-rounded team, and on any given day, it could be any of the guys that we put in first. But you had mentioned someone earlier that has 9 goals for us, and he's a sophomore. He's been coming into games. He started a few games for us this year too, but Kevin Miller has been fantastic coming off the bench.
Coming off a hat trick on Friday night, I think, against Will North. A couple assists for Andrew in that game.
So Nino, is that just one of the keys too, is guys accepting their roles? We know that we're in a society where everybody wants that instant gratification, and to have somebody that doesn't start every game but contribute that much, is that one of those kind of things that can filter through the team and really build the chemistry and have the buy-in be complete?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the guys on the team, as you mentioned, they know their role, but I mentioned to them a lot about it's not about when you start the game, it's how you finish the game, and those guys that come in off the bench sometimes are more important than the guys that start the game, because as you said, a guy like Mike Kerms, he would come in and just change the dynamic of the game, and we have quite a few guys that could do that for us.
Well, Knights, we wish you the best of luck in sectionals. I know the boys from Hilton and Fairport and Penfield and Webster snuck down to the end of the A1s, didn't they? So Webster's lower now, I think, right? So they're not going to have...
Webster Schrader's moved up to double A's, and I think Thomas has slid down.
A1, okay. Well,
so you know that you get to the quarterfinals, it's going to be intense from there on out.
No doubt. Thank you, McQuaid Soccer, for being on our show. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Good luck, fellas. Good to catch up again with you, Nino. We're going to get some hair products for you. You can start looking jet black like me, buddy. All right? All right? McQuaid Soccer right here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sport. I covered it when he was like 17 years old, Nino Pilato. I remember he was going to Florida, and I'm like, who's this Pilato kid? Came back to Rochester, played for the Rhinos, and now he's been coaching for almost a quarter century in Rochester, developing a lot of good young girls and boys soccer players. So for our producer, Joe Brott, and my co-host, Steve Bradley, thanks for watching us right here, once again, on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show.